What's up guys, it's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with a Raid Shadow Legends video, and it has been a hot minute since we uploaded anything for Raid or gaming in general here on the channel. I've had a very busy start to the year and actually have been on vacation for quite a bit of the last month or so. I took a couple of ski trips. I just recently got back into skiing after taking about a 10-year hiatus from the sport. So I was really enjoying getting back up onto the mountain, getting some skiing in. I've posted some videos for my ski trips. If you guys want to check those out, they're just up on the main channel. If you guys want to give them a look, you can feel free to do that. But I thought what we would do is jump back into the new free-to-play account we started here in 2023. I have been keeping up with it, even though I have been on vacation. I didn't get to play very much since I was up in the mountains with limited internet. Also, I'm kind of in the mood nowadays where I go on vacation. The last thing I want to do is be having to jump on my cell phone or my laptop all the time and make sure I'm getting stuff done in Raid. So I actually only played on my main account while I was on vacation just to make sure I could get the new Supreme Elaine fusion finished, because Elaine is obviously my favorite starter. You can tell by the name of our free-to-play account here. So I wanted to make sure we at least got her on the main account. I knew right away we were probably not going to be able to get that fusion done here on the new free-to-play in 2023. But let's kind of check in and show you guys where we are. Going to daily login rewards, we are on day 57. We just got the 150 gems. We get 3 days away from getting Yaga the Insatiable, who I'm still deciding whether or not we're going to use on this account. It would probably be the first time I've used him since my main account over 3 years ago. So it might be kind of cool. We are still kind of looking for a dedicated poisoner for our clan boss team, so he might come in handy in that area. We haven't really been able to pull a really solid poisoner quite yet, unfortunately, so maybe we'll wind up using him. One of the things on this account as well is I'm trying to have a little bit of fun with some of the champions I'm using. So a lot of people, you know, talk trash on Yaga quite a bit. He's not really as bad, I think, as the bad rap he gets. We could definitely make some use of him, but we'll see what happens. But there we are, day 57, to kind of give you an idea of how far in we are when we go through and talk about some of the progression here. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into our champions. We will take a look at how the roster is coming along here. You can see here we still just have our two main legendary champions in Stalfus Dragonbane and in Rhonda over here as well. I did bring her up to 6 stars. Finally, we're still working on getting her ascended. I just need to get into the Potion Keeps One Night and get that finished up. You'll see we actually did put her in a Toxic set, and that's mainly because we are using her in Dragon to advance and progress that a little bit. We've got our main champions here for Clan Boss. We did go ahead and build up Chani. We've got Taragi the Frog. We do have Grappler. We are using Deacon at this point. We're also running Hyria in there as well. Everybody's in lifesteal gear. That's been the one thing really kind of holding us back a little bit, is we haven't been able to get a ton of great gear so far, but we are working on that. We'll kind of get into a Clan Boss run here in just a minute so you guys can check that out. Now, one of the cool things is we did get a Cold Heart off of a Void Shard, and I've heard a lot of CCs and other players say that you really don't want to have Cold Heart early game. She's not that useful. She's too hard to gear, you know, and all these very odd takes, but I disagree completely with that. If you do get Cold Heart in the early game, she's actually incredibly helpful. She's allowed us to progress Fire Knight to a pretty good spot, and you can see here, even with mainly broken gear, we were able to get her in a halfway decent build for this early in the game, 189 accuracy. The nice thing with her is you don't have to really get much above 70% crit rate, so we were able to hit that pretty easily. You know, crit damage, obviously we're not going to have crazy insane crit damage gear at this point, and her speed's a bit low, but for the most part, you know, she's going to be useful for what we need her for early game, which is hitting that Fire Knight shield a bunch of times and also taking down the turn meter. We can also use her a little bit in the Spider very early, but she's just very handy to have on your account no matter what point in the game you are at. So I was very happy to get her. She helped us progress through the Fire Knight pretty easily, along with Rhonda with her multi-hits. We've also got a Stitch Beast here who's got 100% turn meter reduction on his A3, which is another reason we like to use him on that Fire Knight, save that skill for when the shield drops, kind of like Cold Heart where you can dump that turn meter down. We do have an Armiger here. We've taken 5 stars so far, just to use on the Scarab King and also on the Fire Knight. Really not hoping I don't have to take him to 6, because it's kind of a waste of resources on a free-to-play to take an uncommon to 6 stars, but we may have to do it with Armiger. He's not too bad of a character if you do have to do that. We did go ahead and farm up a War Maiden just because Deacon with that Spirit affinity was becoming an issue in a couple areas where he was getting resisted, mainly on Dragon 20. So I wanted to go get a Force Champion with a decreased defense. War Maiden is the easiest one to grab there. You can see we haven't really done much with her gear, but we have her decent amount of accuracy, 226, and decent amount of speed. We did go ahead and switch her into our arena team as well to get a little bit more consistent defense down. Damage I don't really care about, I just really want her to put that decreased defense out there. We did get Maruka from one of the fusions. I've got her in a bolster set right now. I haven't even rolled up any of the gear yet. We're kind of just throwing her in for faction wars to help out a little bit. Some people have really been down on this champion. I do kind of like her kit, especially early game. She's got a lot of stuff that's going to help us progress. We've got decreased speed. We've got a cleanse with a heal. We've got a revive on death buff for everybody, which is pretty cool. And then we've also got a pretty neat little passive on her there. So she should be pretty fun. We did manage to get a Doom Priest, which is another nice early pull. We'll be able to make a good use of her at level 50. And then we also did get a Light Sworn from our Void Shards. So that's a good pickup for Fire Knight. We could actually eventually bring him up into Clan Boss to help out with that. And he's just kind of a handy overall champion to have this early in the game. We do have a bunch of people at 40. At some point I would like to bring Gala Longbraids up because she's an absolute monster for Arena and 3v3. We've got Warden here who's got a pretty solid kit. We actually do have a Magnar. We were using him in 3v3 Arena, but we haven't really been able to boost him up too much just yet. Mausoleum Mage. We got Tagore, who's pretty good. So quite a few good champions here. We did get Relic Keeper from the Arbiter missions just recently. And we did pull a Gembo, so we've got a pretty good amount of epics at this point. I feel like we've got enough champions now on our roster to where if we just develop what we have, we'll be able to progress pretty good. But our main focus has been on Clan Boss, and that's what we're going to talk about here in just a second when we get into that. So let's jump over there, and we will take a look at the Clan Boss. Alright, so here we are, and you can see that we are basically 2 King Brutal pretty easily, 21.6. What we need there, we're at 26. Sometimes we hit 30, it just kind of depends on the RNG. And you can see our Clan Boss team again. We've got Deacon, Chani, Hyria, Grappler, and then Taragi the Frog. So some pretty solid Clan Boss champions in there now. I have been working on Nightmare a little bit. Obviously, you have to get to 9.7 to get that low chest. I think we'll be able to get 2 keys into Nightmare, so we've been basically going to 2 keys and sometimes even getting up to the Master chest. I'll go ahead and throw a key on there right now. We just run it on auto. And this is going to be our next step, is we're going to try to make the move to 3 or 4 key Nightmare here within the next couple of days or week or so. Like I said, I've been farming Dragon quite a bit. We're trying to get some better lifesteal gear for this team, just some better gear in general. And we may make a couple champion swaps. I think Hyria eventually will have to come out of this team. We've got a couple options to replace her with, maybe like a Seducer. We did pull him just recently, but we really need that big time poisoner. We're using Grappler and Hyria mainly for the poisons. Taragi does put out poison as well when he takes some hits, so we do get a little bit of poison to fill up the poison bar, but it's not ideal like if we had a frozen Banshee or someone that could do that for us. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're doing there. Now we do have masteries complete on all 5 of these champions, so everybody does have War Master. And it's just a matter of getting better gear on them. I think once that happens, we should be able to make the move up to Nightmare fairly easily. The other issue with that too is, of course, getting enough silver to be able to level up all of that gear. I think I got up to 3 million silver one day, and then I literally blew through it in like one night of gearing up a couple of champions. It's just really difficult early in the game to manage that silver, especially if you're trying to progress in a couple of different areas. We've kind of narrowed it down now to where we're just working on Clan Boss and, you know, trying to get a consistent team on Dragon 20 so we can farm up some of that gear. I haven't really been paying too much attention to other areas. We basically are kind of chilling in Gold 1 in Arena. 3v3, we're just doing Bronze 1, just doing our matches every week to get our Drexthar shards. And we haven't really been pushing too many other dungeons or potion keeps. You know, we're not even 2 months into the game, so there's going to be time to do all that later on. But I really want to make Clan Boss the focus, get to that Ultra Nightmare as quick as we can. I don't know if you guys were following the Content Creator Free-to-Play Challenge, but Deadwood Jedi basically showed that it's possible to get an Ultra Nightmare team up and running 3 key within about two and a half months of playing the game. That's absolutely crazy. I remember when I was first playing Raid, I don't think I had my first Ultra Nightmare team until I was, you know, maybe a year in, but I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. But if we could do that, if we could get to just even Nightmare and get a 2 to 3 key Nightmare team this early in the game, it's going to be huge for bringing in those early game rewards. Being able to get some legendary books, possibly some sacred shards. If we can get that top chest, it's going to be pretty ideal. Now, we did lose a couple people here. You're getting up toward turn 20, which on Nightmare is a big difference from Brutal. So one of the things you can kind of pay attention to on your clan boss runs is watching which of your champions die first, and those are the ones you know where you kind of have to improve the gear on them. This is actually one of the best keys I think I've had so far on Nightmare, though. We're at 9.9, almost 10 million damage. This is going pretty well. I did recently make some great haul improvements, and we're getting the bonuses for being in Gold 1, so that's probably why we were able to get that pretty solid key there. Everybody does about the same amount of damage, nothing really spectacular or stand out here, but that would be a 4 key, actually, so that's kind of cool, but we don't want to be wasting 4 keys on Nightmare. We want to try to be getting at least 2 chests every day, so if we can get it to where we can 2 key or even 1 key Brutal, and then, you know, 3 key Nightmare, that would be ideal. But we will at least get that first chest here, and you can see we got a chance for the Void Shard and, you know, the epic books, which are very helpful now. But we want to get up to this chest here so we can start giving a chance to get those sacreds, get some better gear, get these legendary books. Those are the big things. Plus the gems are always helpful too and are free to play. So that's kind of where we are there with Clan Boss. So at least we got a pretty decent run in this evening. Hydra, we have not really been doing much. I've been trying to do a key on normal, and it ranges between like 500 and 900,000, but we can't quite get to that bottom chest yet, so there's really no point in wasting time on Hydra until we get a little bit better champions there. We are kind of looking at Doom Tower. We just had the reset. We were able to do up through floor 10. I've got my keys reset tonight, so maybe we'll jump through here and try to progress that a little bit. But let's go ahead and jump into dungeons real quick and kind of show you guys where we are. As I said, we were really pushing through just a couple of these. We've got Minotaur 15 down to a pretty decent time, and you can see our team here. It's basically Rhonda, Stalthus, Elaine, Coldheart, and we got a War Maiden in there now because we're working on her Mastery Scrolls. So pretty good time there already. You know, 2 months in, we're able to farm 15 pretty effectively if I don't decide to just spend my gems. It's crazy how many gems you actually do get now early game. I've been very surprised. I've been able to gem the Masteries, I think, on 4 champions, and I still have 1,000 gems because of how many you're able to get through all the different events and everything else. And of course, we just hit the point in the Arbiter missions where we're getting like 75 gems for every one we finish, so it's added up quite a bit. Spider, we haven't really gone much past 10. There's no point to go past 10 right now because we don't have the HP burn champs. We don't really have the champions to push down into these further levels. And we don't have to just yet. We do have to do a team for 14, I think is the next Arbiter mission we are on, so we will have to take a look at doing that. But with stage 10, you're going to get, you know, 5-star gear pretty much 90% of the time. For 2 months into the game, that's pretty good. That's where we want to be. Ice Golem, we basically just ignored outside of doing Arbiter missions, so we are up stage 14 there. And kind of the same thing with Fire Knight. We've gotten to stage 14. Like I said, that Cold Heart really helping us out here. This is the main team we're basically using here. Stalthus does have a little bit of Terminator on his A1. Deacon's got a little bit of Terminator control, and we just got a bunch of hits for that shield. So that's kind of the team we're using. We're actually able to farm stage 14, I think about 100% almost. I've seen it fail maybe one time, but if we wanted to come in and farm, we could. I just haven't really seen a need to do Fire Knight just yet this early in the game. And then on Dragon, we have gotten down to stage 20. The only problem with my stage 20 team is that it's not super reliable. It's about 80% maybe that they'll complete it when they get to the Dragon, but 80% is not good right now for, you know, when you have the free-to-play energy, you want to hang on to it. So what we actually have been doing is farming stage 17. And we can just run through here real quick. You guys can kind of see. Maybe you guys will be good luck in the video. We'll get a 6-star drop. Because I haven't been getting too much 6-star gear dropping even on 17, but that's why we want to get to 20. But I think what we need for 20 is we've got to get our War Maiden up, get her gear rolled up so we can bring her in there, because Deacon, obviously being negative affinity there, is not helping us out with that decreased defense as much. So it'd be great to kind of get War Maiden going so we can bring her in. But we can at least do 17 pretty easily. You know, Taragi with that, you know, his provoke and everything. He's going to help us out. We also, like I said, don't really have a major poisoner to use against the dragon, which would also speed up our farm time. That's why I said if we could get a frozen Banshee, or maybe even we do go ahead and use Yaga at some point, it would really help out. That's why we put the toxic gear on Rhonda, so we do get a little bit extra poison damage once we get to the dragon. But you can see here it's nice to have Taragi to help us get through these waves, so we're not going to get killed by these Hordens. We've also got the stun coming in from Stalthus. Stalthus has been an absolute monster for having early game because he's got so much in his kit that really helps you out in all these different areas. He's got turn meter drop, he's got the stun, he does insane damage, so you can use him in arena. We've also got Brimstone on him, as you can see there. We have not been able to find one for Rhonda. I saw one in the shop the other day. I think it was 20 and we only had 17, so I couldn't get it for her. If I'd been able to do that, I probably would have brought her into my clan boss team. I've been trying to figure out if I want to move Stalthus into clan boss, but I don't really want to take him out of his role now, which is just mainly damage and wave control for other areas of the game we want to progress in. So we'll see what happens there. We got a lot of options, but since we've already invested into 5 halfway decent clan boss champions, I kind of want to work on them and see if they can, you know, at least do the 2 or 3 key on Nightmare before we move on from them. Obviously, when we do make that jump to Ultra Nightmare, we're probably going to have to make some replacements, at least to Hyria, because she is going to be pretty tough to make durable enough to work at the Ultra Nightmare level. So we'll see what happens. But there you go, Dragon 17, pretty easy. Oh, look at that, we got a 6-star piece. Please don't be a flat stat. Oh, okay, there we go. See, when I make a video, it's always good luck. We got a nice defensive chest piece here. We don't even care about the frost set right now because early game, all you want is good pieces. It doesn't matter if it's part of the set. This is an excellent piece for someone. We got accuracy, we got speed, crit damage, HP, all pretty good stats for this. And obviously 6-star defense chest is probably going to be the best defense chest we have on the account right now. So that's actually pretty cool that we were able to get that item there. So good way to end the video with a nice victory over Dragon 17. I'll probably farm that a little bit tomorrow during Clan vs. Clan, see if we can get lucky and get some more 6-star gear on the account. And hopefully the next video we do updating on the account, we'll be able to make that move fully into Nightmare Clan Boss. So stay tuned, we'll see if we can hit that. As always, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again next time.